I just learned something really interesting about how you can apply knowledge from stuff like books to your real life, and it kind of opened my eyes to something that I didn't realize before. So it's going to take a little bit to lay out, but hopefully I can explain the thought. In The Lean Startup, the author mentions a guy that started using lean startup ideology within his own greater organization, and I'll just read a section of the book. Knowing lean startup principles makes me feel like I have superpowers, even though I'm just a junior. When I meet with corporate VPs, blah, 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 I ask them simple questions, and I use the process of the lean startup to help them create testable hypotheses for new business initiatives. That's what this guy's basically doing. He's using the techniques in this book to make educated guesses and testable experiments within a larger organization. So he's making the organization more efficient because of the knowledge he has from this book. And the interesting thing here is that the execs above him that see the new process that he brings to the table, they don't realize that it's a systematic thing that exists. They don't realize it is a process and a way of doing things. They think the kid's brilliant. They just think that this guy's really, really smart. So I'll continue reading and paraphrasing. As a result of these interactions, he has developed a reputation within his large company as a brilliant employee. It's good for his career, but frustrating for him personally, because although he is quite brilliant, his insights into flawed product plans are not due to his special intelligence, but due to having a theory that allows him to predict what will happen and propose alternatives. Interesting. He is frustrated because the managers he is pitching his ideas to do not see the system. They wrongly conclude that the keys to success is finding brilliant people like him to put on their teams. They are failing to see the opportunity he is really presenting to them to achieve better results systematically by changing their beliefs about how innovation happens. That's a really fascinating idea. If you know a particular paradigm, or you know a process, or you know a system of thinking and doing things, other people might sometimes see you as a wizard. And the idea that they think it's you, that kind of is something I never thought about. That boggles the mind. I mean, if you know a way of doing things that is proven to be more efficient, and you can take that and apply it, if you can do both things, if you can take action but also think, if you can take principles from a book like this, and of course it's not the end-all be-all book, it's not the only way to innovate, but if you can take principles that are sound and you can apply them to new situations and you can demonstrate that to other people, this book is telling me that sometimes those people will think you are a freaking wizard because they just don't have the same information you do, and they don't put two and two together and realize that what you are doing is not an innate ability of your own mind. It's just that you have more information about them, or you have more information about how to deal with particular situations like this. So yeah, that section of the book made me realize knowledge is power if you are able to apply it. If you just have knowledge, if you just spend your time reading, that's kind of useless. If you have only the ability to take action, that's kind of useless. I mean, both of those two things are fantastic, but when combined, when you have really good knowledge and critical thinking ability and the ability to actually do things about it, that's when you start to look like a wizard. Here's another example. In this book, attached, I read this book to learn about interpersonal dynamics, relationship dynamics, and I felt like a wizard after reading it because I realized that I could take a look at almost any of my friends, any two people in a relationship, and I could kind of predict how things would go. And that applied to myself as well. I started to realize why I thought certain things, why I behaved in certain ways, and it's really, really interesting because having knowledge like that, it almost feels like a superpower. It's like you see a little bit deeper into the universe, and of course, you know, there's so much more to learn, and I'm probably just barely scratching the surface, but being able to know certain things that are proven, or know these theories and frameworks about systems, about people, about mental processes, being able to know that stuff and also act on it. If you can do both of those things, my theory is that you are going to be a wizard. And so that's a skill that I'm going to pay attention to, and I'm going to try and develop even further. So I'm going to, you know, when I read a book like this, when I read a book like Attached, or I read a book like The Lean Startup, I actively take notes on the things that challenge my preconceived notions. I actively take notes, and I actively try to change the way that I think about the world around me to adopt those patterns of it. Like I try to apply it to situations and say, okay, could I use it here? Could I use it there? So sometimes it takes me a long, long time to read a book if it's particularly counter to what I had already thought, or delivering me tons of new information. I think it probably took me 5 or 6 days to read this one, and I ended up writing like 8 pages of notes, just having realization after realization. But that combination of learning new things about the world that maybe not a lot of people know because they just haven't had it presented to them in a palatable way and haven't gone through the work of internalizing and realizing what it means, and then also being able to act on it. The section that I just read from this book really, really makes me think that that is a highly valuable skill, and I guess we'll find out.